In today's video, I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to use each machine in the gym. If you're wondering how each machine works, because let's be honest, some people use the machines in different ways.
Oh my God! What is that?
Then this video is for you. Each gym has a different set of machines, but all gyms have some machines that are in common. I'm going to identify each machine and tell you what each one does. And at the end of the video, I'm going to rank the worst machine and the best machine. In no specific order, let's get into it, starting with the leg press. There's many different types of leg presses, but all leg presses function in two different ways, either by pushing the plate or by pushing the seat back. This is a good compound exercise that focuses on the quads and hamstrings, although more on the quads compared to the hamstrings. When setting up the leg press, adjust the seat so that your knees are below parallel. That way, when you're actually doing the movement, you have constant tension on the quads and hamstrings. Your feet placement should be about shoulder width apart, and make sure that when you're doing the movement, push on your heels and not your toes. Remember to not lock out your knees, as well as keep your back flat on the seat. The next machine is the leg extension machine. This is an isolation exercise that only focuses on the quads. There's a hinge on the side of the machine that lifts the pad up when you contract the muscle. You want your knees aligned with the hinge. From this view, you can see me move the seat back to align my knees with the hinge. I won't go into the specifics of the movement, just bring your legs up and down. And from this angle, you can see the hinge even better. That's where you want to align your knees. There are two different types of hamstring curls. You have the seated hamstring curl machine as well as the lying hamstring curl machine. They're both isolation exercises for the hamstrings. You can see here I have a little more setting up to do, and this is the only view I could get for this machine, but the hinge looks exactly the same as the leg extension. It has that little black circle on the side. I like to put the pad a little higher so that I get a good stretch in my hamstrings. The hardest thing about this machine is the setup. Once you actually execute the movement, it's really simple. Just push your legs down. The lying hamstring curl, just make sure that you're in a comfortable position and you want the pad to be closer to your heels compared to your calves. This machine has a lot easier setup than the seated hamstring curl, but with no extra pad, there can be a tendency to compensate once you get closer to failure. So far, all of these machines have had pretty simple movements. For this one, just bring your heels to your butt. The next machine is the pec deck. This machine is a chest isolated exercise. The key is to make sure that the seat is not too low and that the handles are not too far back. You want your arms to be at a 45-degree angle. And when you're actually doing the pec deck, make sure your shoulder blades are pinched the entire time. This is the perfect angle to see that the starting position with the flies is a little further back. Notice once I start the movement, I never go back to that position. Moving your arms too far back begins to put more stress on your shoulders and gives you a higher chance of injury.
Round 2.
Whoa, a bonus exercise. Yes, the pec deck can also be used for your rear deltoids. When you do the exercise, grab the other handles and push the handles out and away. The one after that is the chest press machine. This one is a compound exercises that focuses on the chest. Just like with the pec deck, make sure your shoulder blades are pinched. If you didn't see my chest workout video yet, you definitely should, because I added this exercise into that routine. Make sure to adjust the seat so that when you do the movement, your arms stay at a 45-degree angle. If you're liking the video so far, make sure you press the subscribe button as well as like the video so that you keep getting more just like this. After that is the lat pull down machine. If you can, bring the seat all the way down so that you can get a good stretch on your lats. And when you bring the bar down, you want to pinch your shoulder blades together and pretend that you're putting your elbows into your back pocket. You can see I'm moving the seat all the way down, but the problem is that I can't move the pad that sits on top of my knees further down as well. So if I go heavy or I begin to fatigue, I may feel like standing up a little bit. After the lats, we have the machine shoulder press. As you can see, the seat is all the way down and that I use the handles which are perpendicular to my face. The con with the machine shoulder press is that without the stabilization aspect, the front delt is doing most of the work, with very little work coming from the middle deltoid. So you will need to add some extra exercises in to work that middle delt. The next machine is the seated curl. You want the seat to be adjusted to where when you do the movement, your triceps push into the pads that are behind you. Bicep curls are easy to do, so I won't go too in depth, but here's what the machine looks like. It is a very nice alternative if no benches are available for dumbbell curls. The only issue is, just like with the dumbbells, there can be a tendency to compensate. And after that is the machine preacher curl. This one you want your armpits to fit snugly onto the pad. I like this machine a lot because at Planet Fitness there are no preacher curl setups for dumbbells, so this is a good alternative. Just make sure when you're doing this exercise that your armpits are fit snugly onto the pad. This machine does also have a hinge point just like the leg extension and leg curl, but the con is that it may not feel really comfortable for you. And after that is the tricep extension machine. You want your armpits again to be adjusted very snug onto the pad, and you just push the bar down. I will be honest guys, I do not like this machine. I do not recommend it. However, if you do want to do this machine, it is similar to the preacher curl, except you're going to push the bar down instead of pulling it up. The reason I don't like this machine is it doesn't put your tricep in the most optimal position. I would prefer to work with dumbbells or cables. After that one is the machine dips. These mainly target your triceps. The machine dip makes up for the machine tricep extension because you get a lot better range of motion. If your gym has it, I highly recommend it. Make sure to keep your elbows tucked in to really hit the triceps when you're pushing the handles down. The next machine is the machine row. This one is another one that focuses mainly on the lats. Adjust the pad that you lay your chest on to be far enough away that you get a good stretch on your lats, but also not too far that you can't reach the handles. There's really no height specification for this machine, so adjust the seat to wherever just feels comfortable for you. Notice that I can get a really good stretch on my lats thanks to the pad that's pushing on my chest. Because the machine has a chest support pad, it potentially makes it better than the cable row. Always make sure to pinch your shoulder blades together at the top of the movement. From these options, I now want to focus on the ab machines. Even though all ab machines look different, they mainly do the same movement, which is a crunch. You have the ab machine with your arms in front, and you have the ab machine with the handles that are by your side. This machine, the bar is in front. The important thing about this machine is to make sure your elbows stay locked the entire time. If you begin to push the bar, you're using more of your arms and less of your abs. This ab machine has a setup like a normal crunch, but no putting your hands behind your neck, which is really good if you do feel crunches in your neck instead of your abs. The next machine is the torso rotation. This one is supposed to work your obliques and your QL. With the torso rotation machine, it's important that you don't swing all the way to the other side. That's a big mistake that a lot of people do. Just rotate to the center, and when you get tired on one side, adjust the seat to start working on the other side of your body. There are a couple more machines that focus more on the hips. You have the hip abduction machine and the hip adductor machine. So this is the hip abduction machine. This is the one where you push your legs out, the abduction. It's a really good exercise for your glute medius, although some people do feel this movement a little bit uncomfortable if they are tight in their hips. And this is the hip adduction machine, the adduction. This is the machine where you start with your legs out and push the weight in. This one works the inside of your legs, and it's also a machine that may feel uncomfortable if you are tight in your hips. The next machine that we have is the calf raise machine. You sit onto the machine and you push your toes down. With the calf raise machine, you don't necessarily need to lock your knees. It's a really simple machine, but if you're looking to overload your calves a little bit more and don't have the grip strength for a dumbbell, this is a great machine to use. Now I'm going to rank the worst and the best machines. The worst machine out of all of these is the torso rotation machine. This machine, it goes against how your body is supposed to move. When you spin or turn or move your back any which way, you move your upper back. You don't move your lower back. So, and what this machine does is it stabilizes your upper back and moves your lower back. And that can lead to a higher chance of injury when people use this machine. The best machine out of all of these is the machine chest press. It's really just a simple movement of pushing the bar. You also can load the weight up pretty nicely. And if you bring the handles back far enough, you get a really nice stretch in your chest. Thank you guys so much for watching the video.